Her health, her heart is fragile.
Her health was fragile, her heart delicate. On February 7th, 2026, law enforcement entered the Tucson home connected to Savannah Guthrie's family. They found blood droplets, later confirmed through DNA testing to belong to Nancy Guthrie. There were signs of forced entry, and some of her belongings were missing. Most alarming, several of her life-sustaining devices were gone. Her family was left facing a quiet, profound fear, uncertain of what had truly occurred. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.
Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman.
This is what investigators discovered inside Savannah Guthrie's mother's home, and why the nation was left in stunned silence. The night Nancy Guthrie vanished. She was 84 years old, born on January 27, 1942, in Fort Wright, Kentucky, and had lived in the Tucson area for decades. A widow, she had raised 3 children. Savannah, now co-anchor of NBC's Today Show, Annie, a jeweler and writer living nearby with her husband Tommaso Cayan, and Cameron, a retired F-16 fighter pilot. Nancy lived alone in a single-story home in the Catalina foothills, an unincorporated area north of Tucson, surrounded by desert hills and saguaros. She relied on a pacemaker and daily medication for a chronic heart condition, unable to walk more than 50 yards without assistance. By every measure in criminal profiling, she was considered a low-risk victim, an elderly woman with a predictable routine, leading a quiet, solitary life. On the evening of January 31st, 2026, she followed that routine. She spent the evening with her family, traveling by Uber to Annie's home for dinner and games. The night passed without incident. At 9:48 p.m., Tommaso Cayan returned her home. Her garage door opened, and 2 minutes later, it closed, moments captured by security systems. That closing door marked the last confirmed, ordinary activity at her home. For the next 4 hours, there was nothing, no alerts, no triggers, no recorded movement. Then, at 1:47 a.m. on February 1st, her doorbell camera went offline. This was no glitch. The device had been removed. Investigators later confirmed the unit was missing entirely. At 2:12 a.m., a separate camera detected a person, though no video was saved, the system having overwritten its own storage. By 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. The phone remained inside. By then, Nancy Guthrie was no longer in her home. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.
So if you go from 1:47 a.m., which is when the doorbell cam got disconnected, to 2:28 a.m., which is when her pacemaker, meaning she, got far enough away from her phone that the app stopped communicating with the pacemaker. That is 41 minutes. 41 minutes. What was a kidnapper doing in Nancy Guthrie's home for 41 minutes? How does it take 41 minutes to kidnap an 84-year-old woman?
41 minutes. That was the span between the moment the doorbell camera went offline and the pacemaker disconnected from her phone. 41 minutes inside the home of an 84-year-old woman, reliant on a pacemaker and unable to walk far without assistance. In typical abduction cases, experts note a pattern. A perpetrator enters and exits swiftly. That was not what occurred here. The following morning, Nancy did not follow her usual routine. She had long maintained a habit of engaging with her church community, though in recent years she had attended services online rather than in person. By 11:56 a.m., her family arrived at the home to find her absent. Her phone remained inside, as did her Apple Watch and the medication she needed to survive. At 12:03 p.m., they called 911. When deputies from the Pima County Sheriff's Department arrived shortly thereafter, they discovered blood droplets on the front porch. DNA testing later confirmed they belonged to Nancy Guthrie. The scene suggested resistance. Something had occurred on the porch, something that left its mark. But the length of time, 41 minutes, raised questions that could not easily be answered. Was there a struggle inside the home? Did events take a more tragic turn before she was removed? The possibility lingered unspoken in the spaces between certainty and fear. Sheriff Chris Nanos immediately declared the residence a crime scene. Homicide detectives were involved from the outset, signaling that investigators were considering outcomes beyond a living victim. Signs of forced entry were evident, yet nothing of substantial value had been taken. A neighbor recalled seeing an unmarked white panel van in the days prior, a detail that joined an expanding list of leads. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Drones, K-9 units, helicopters, border patrol, and more than 100 law enforcement personnel scoured the desert terrain surrounding her home. The FBI joined the investigation, offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to her recovery. Neighbors described a serene, retirement-friendly community, the kind of place where this type of disappearance seemed almost inconceivable. No one was found. No suspects were named. No persons of interest were identified. By February 6th and 7th, investigators had returned to the property, towing vehicles from the garage, removing devices from the roof, and conducting K-9 sweeps. The case had shifted from a missing person inquiry to a full criminal abduction investigation. Sheriff Nanos publicly stated his belief that Nancy had been taken against her will, possibly in the middle of the night, and that she remained somewhere out of reach. The question was no longer whether she had been removed, it was who had taken her, why they had spent 41 minutes inside her home, and whether she was still alive. Within days, ransom demands arrived, not quietly, but broadcast to media outlets including TMZ, KODTV, and KGUN. The notes demanded millions of dollars in Bitcoin, with deadlines and explicit threats tied to her life. The choice of cryptocurrency, difficult to trace and designed for anonymity, suggested deliberate planning, a calculated intention rather than impulsive desperation. What set these particular notes apart from the flood of hoaxes that followed was the unnerving precision in their detail. Harvey Levin of TMZ, whose outlet received one of the primary communications, described it as deliberate and measured, containing elements that suggested knowledge beyond what the public could access. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. References to Nancy Guthrie's Apple Watch, a broken floodlight, and specific aspects of her clothing indicated a familiarity with the scene that a casual observer could not possess. The sender claimed she was alive, aware, and frightened, yet conscious of the demands being made on her behalf. The correspondence was strictly one way. There would be no direct communication with the family. The combination of anonymity, specificity, and the unidirectional nature of the notes left both the family and authorities in a state of urgent uncertainty, grappling with how to confirm that Nancy was alive. The deadline embedded in the messages carried real weight, amplifying the stakes with each passing hour. Almost immediately, opportunists sought to exploit the situation. On February 5th, a man in California was arrested for sending false ransom texts, highlighting how quickly tragedy can be compounded by fraud. Yet among the noise, some notes appeared informed by inside knowledge, while others were demonstrably fabricated. Investigators faced the painstaking task of separating credible leads from hoaxes, all while the clock ticked toward deadlines whose consequences were unknown. Inside Nancy's home, the forensic picture deepened the unease. The unexplained 41-minute window between the doorbell going offline and her pacemaker disconnecting remained central to the investigation. Experts observed that the duration was unusually long for a straightforward abduction. Analysts considered the possibility that the intruder may have been searching for something, or that a confrontation had occurred within the house, altering the course of that night. Former FBI profilers described her as a low-risk victim, suggesting the act was deliberate rather than opportunistic. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Yet the public nature of the ransom notes, delivered to media rather than family, raised questions about motive, financial, ideological, or otherwise. Additional DNA evidence discovered within the home hinted at further events that were as yet unresolved, leaving open the grim possibility of a struggle or assault. From the earliest days, the Guthrie family took measured public action. Savannah, Annie, and Cameron appeared together in video statements that combined urgency with restraint. Their words underscored the fragility of their mother's condition, 84 years old, reliant on daily medication, and facing constant pain. The plea was simple and human, a recognition of vulnerability, a call for her safe return, and the unspoken weight of fear carried in every moment without her presence. Her need for medication was not an emotional appeal for cameras, it was a matter of survival. Nancy Guthrie relied on daily treatment for a chronic heart condition, and her pacemaker monitored a delicate cardiac rhythm that, without intervention, could prove fatal. Each hour without her medication increased the risk to her life, independent of whatever intentions her captor might have held. The family confronted this reality directly, placing her health at the center of their public appeal. A measured strategy consistent with professional hostage negotiation techniques designed to humanize the victim and apply psychological pressure on those holding her. Their message was clear. She was vulnerable, she needed care, and the urgency was genuine. In a departure from conventional practice, the Guthries acknowledged the ransom demands publicly, framing their words with precision and intent. "We are ready to talk," they said, yet the plea contained a crucial demand for verification. In a world where voices and images could be manipulated with artificial intelligence, any proof of life had to be indisputable, not a synthetic recording, not a doctored photograph, but something that confirmed she was truly present and aware. The stakes of authentication were explicit, reflecting the complexities modern technology imposes on families and law enforcement in hostage cases. By February 7th, a second video from the family was released. In it, they referenced a communication they considered potentially legitimate, carefully distinguishing it from the flood of hoaxes and false demands that had emerged. They expressed both readiness and resolve. "We will pay," they said, without specifying an amount, signaling the resources and willingness to meet the demands in order to bring their mother home alive. Savannah Guthrie stepped away from her professional obligations, including coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics, to focus entirely on her mother's safety. Her life, once defined by public visibility and the daily rhythm of a national broadcast, had been suspended. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Even political figures became involved, with the former president offering federal support for the search. Community members left signs, candles, and prayers outside Nancy's home, reflecting a quiet solidarity that mirrored the gravity of the moment. Stripped of media noise, the facts remained stark and unsettling. An 84-year-old woman, reliant on a pacemaker and limited in mobility, had been removed from her home during the night. Whoever entered spent 41 minutes inside, disabling cameras, leaving behind her phone, her watch, and the medication that sustained her. Blood on the porch suggested resistance. Ransom notes appeared at media outlets, some containing details only someone with direct knowledge could know, others confirmed as hoaxes. Additional DNA evidence awaited analysis. Federal and local authorities devoted immense resources, over 100 personnel, digital billboards, and cross-state coordination to locate her. The family publicly expressed their willingness to meet demands, yet 8 days after her disappearance, with a looming Bitcoin deadline, one truth remained. Nancy Guthrie was gone, and no one had yet been held accountable. And in the quiet intensity of their public messages, the family's voice carried their hope, fear, and determination. Mommy, if you're hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter. Everyone is looking for you, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.